Hey, welcome to Truth Tuesday with Pastor Josh. Truth is the true and actual state of a matter. It is conformity with fact or reality. It is verified. It's the real deal. Let's look at what that means today on Truth Tuesday. Hey, thanks for joining me today as we dive into Chapter 6 of the book Unoffendable by Brant Hansen. And what a great book it has been as we've gone through it. I've already read it previously, and then we're just kind of going through. These are a little bit like Cliff Notes, these podcasts through this book. And so thanks for joining me as we go through it today. We're in Chapter 6, which is entitled Beautiful Exceptions. Yesterday we talked a little bit about the human heart and how we shouldn't be surprised when people don't meet our expectations. Well, I love this chapter because it's kind of a direct follow-up to the previous one, which most books do that, but this one is a beautiful follow-up because it highlights the other side of it. And so we talked about how the human heart really struggles, right? And that we shouldn't be surprised when it fails us. And so it should lead us to be less offendable because it doesn't surprise us when people fail. Now look at this. It says, beautiful exceptions. We don't want to become people of cynicism. And I kind of mentioned that a little bit yesterday, that's the flip side, is we don't want to become cynical, not believing in faith and hope that God can do something in the lives of people. And so I love some of the stuff he says. I'm going to read a good portion here. Here's a statement that says, yes, the world is broken, but don't be offended by it. Instead, thank God that he's intervened in it, and he's going to restore it. And so he flips it on his head a little bit and says, yes, we know people's hearts are awful, right? Human nature is awful. It's evil and corrupt and deceitful and all those different things. But in that, we shouldn't be so cynical that we forget to thank God that he's stepped into the situation, that he's intervened in the situation, and he has provided a way for people. And it also gives us the key to our response in the middle of these situations. Instead of being offendable and becoming more unoffendable, the gospel has a lot to do with that. And so it talks about this. It says, yes, the world is broken, but don't be offended by it. I'm rereading this part. It says, instead, thank God that he's intervened in it, and he's going to restore it to everything it was meant to be. His kingdom is breaking through bit by bit. Recognize it and wonder at it. War is not exceptional. Peace is. Worry is not exceptional. Trust is. Decay is not exceptional. Restoration is. Anger is not exceptional. Gratitude is. Selfishness is not exceptional. Sacrifice is. Defensiveness is not exceptional. Love is. And judgmentalism is not exceptional, but grace is. And I love that because he's trying to help us understand that in these moments where people don't meet our expectation, there's an opportunity to be offended or to be unoffended. But he takes it a little further into the fact that for us to be truly unoffendable, it's not enough just to not be fazed by something. It's to move into a whole different thinking in response to what someone has done. So to move beyond just not being almost like a neutral party, like I'm neutral, to move beyond that into somebody who is unoffendable because you respond differently to the failures in the expectations that are not met by others. And so he says this is an opportunity to literally respond like God does to our failure. When we fail, he's not offended by that. He chooses to be unoffendable, and he chooses to respond to us differently. He responds with grace when really we all deserve death and judgment and punishment and all those things. But in this moment, he provides the exceptional thing. He provides the thing that doesn't make any sense, right? And so we're really called to do the same. And you say, well, I know that. Well, we only know what we practice, right? I've heard that said that, for us to have learned anything, we only know what we actually put into practice. So it's important for us to think about this. We have to recognize our own brokenness and then gaze at the beauty of God's manifested love and grace breaking into the world. So it's interesting. This isn't easy, is it? It isn't easy at all. It says, but grace has no borders. Love breaks through, and just as Jesus said of the church, the gates of hell will not prevail against it. Although the hearts of people, man, they stink, right? Human nature really sucks. But in the middle of all that, there's beautiful exceptions, and these exceptions give us an opportunity to live exceptionally towards other people, to share the exceptionalness. I had to think about how to say that, of God to others, to share who Christ is to others, and to model that. And so it's an opportunity to have a beautiful exception to the rule. We don't want to respond like the world does, and that's the thing, is that for the most part, that's what people do. That's why people are offended, is because that's what you do. You become offended. Like when somebody hits you, you hit them back. Like we've been taught that, right? Like if someone hits you, you hit them back. Well, the truth is that we're actually called not to. We're actually called not to, because that is exceptional. That is wonderful and beautiful, and doesn't make any sense to any of us. But that's what we're called to. And so I want to challenge you to do that, find ways to share that beautiful, exceptional nature of God today in your life and your relationships and those around you. So blessings on you. Thanks for joining me today. I'll see you tomorrow.